Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Veshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Wonderful to meet all of you. Thank you. It is a great pleasure for me. It is a especially special place for me because for the first time we are speaking together, all four of us. Both of them are sisters, and Sundar is my very, very dear friend. And you all came together, and we are happy to be addressing all of you together. Thank you so much, Mother Nikunj, Manjari, Mataji. Thank you so much for organizing this. And Ankit Prabhu, is that what you know? Haripriya Prabhu. So thank you so much, and thank you all of you. It's such a pleasure to be here in this beautiful town of Bournemouth. Of course, the first time we ever came to this part of the world. So the today's discussion, as we have been told, is transforming material to spiritual, or transitioning or transforming from material to spiritual. So how does one do that, right? So if you see, there's constant transition or transformation going on everywhere, on a micro level and on a macro level, right? If for those who are sort of scientists, or those who are more from the scientific background, we know that when you see things, anything under a very, very evolved microscope, you see every cell is constantly transforming. And you said that our whole body, we are every cell of the body, including the brain cell, which takes the longest to change, is changed every 7 years. So every 7 years we are transformed into otherwise the same person, no doubt, but body has changed completely. Every cell of the body has changed. So on a micro level, on a macro level, our moods are transformed constantly. Everything is going well, we are very happy, and then something goes wrong. There's a traffic jam, a long waiting, as oh my god, things change. So every situation of life, do you all agree that there is constant transformation, right? You and me, right? On the physical level, on the emotional level, on the social level, things are changing. What the society was a month back, it is very different now, and what it will be a month later, it will be very, very different. And on the spiritual level, right? And every transformation has, if you see, a transforming agent or a cause of transformation, which causes that particular transformation, whether good or bad. That is not the point here. But Krishna consciousness, that all of us are trying to be, all of us are trying to be Krishna conscious, requires a very interesting transformation in our lives, transforming our material understanding to spiritual understanding, transforming everything that we have and what we call it, Krishnaizing it. So we don't have to give up anything. You have to Krishnaize it. And that's transforming from material to spiritual, right? And that's what we are trying to do. It's not that any one of us are asked to change the way we are or change the situation that we are in. We continue to be the same person. If we are a student, we continue to be a student. If we are a businessman, we continue to be a businessman. If we are a teacher, we continue to be a teacher. We are a housewife, we continue to be a housewife, right? So there is no need for transforming externally, but the heart has to change. There's a change of consciousness. And in our Shastras, there are so many beautiful examples of such transformation. Now, why do we hear scriptures? Why do we hear these beautiful pastimes of the Lord from the Bhagavad Gita, which is of course a discussion, but mainly from the Shrimad Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Charitamrita, primarily Shrimad Bhagavatam. We hear different pastimes, different episodes which happen there. And most of these episodes are transformational stories of a person from one situation to the other. Sometimes from good to bad, sometimes from bad to good, or sometimes from bad to worse, or something like that. And every beautiful story, teaches us the power of that particular transforming agent or transforming cause in that story. And when we hear these stories, this pastime, because these are not just bedtime stories which are written in a hypothetical way that people get entertained. These are actual the pastimes of the Lord which have happened. And by hearing them, the purpose of these stories is actually transformation. It should change your heart. It should make you more convinced about what? About the purpose of life and about changing from what we are to something what we are supposed to be. Huh? And what is this that we are supposed to be? We are supposed to be eternal servants of the Lord. Huh? It's explained that our natural disposition is to love God. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoy Shravan Adi Suddha Chitte Karore Udoy. This verse also talks about transformation. That there's eternal love of God in everyone's heart, but it has been covered by a cloud. So we have to transform or remove that cloud of ignorance, so that there must be a transforming agent to remove that cloud of ignorance and transform our heart from a clouded state to a pure, effulgent state of loving Krishna.
So as we understand that Jivere Swarupare Krishnare Nitya Das, right? Each one of us, our original position is that we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and that is a spiritual spark. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam it appears that how this entire creation takes place. And the first thing which happened before the creation, uh, Lord Vishnu is glancing on the material nature. And through that glance, the material nature gets agitated. And through that glance, all the living entities, each one of us, we come from the body of Lord Krishna. So each one of us are actually a spiritual person, a spiritual spark. And then when we come into the contact of the material nature, depending upon our desire and the karmas which we have done, we get a newer body. And the first thing in the part of the creation, we are reading in manner just now the verses, the first part of creation is that the living entity is covered with false ego. And that false ego gives you identification. I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm Indian, I'm British, I'm a doctor, I'm a cook. So all this identification comes to the spiritual person through the veil, or you can say through the lens of false ego. So transitioning from material to spiritual is transition that you getting back to your original position. Each one of us are at present living in this body, right? We have spiritual spark who is living in this body. And when we are living in this body, we start identifying ourselves with this body. And that's why we need to again reconnect ourselves to our spiritual eternal father and understanding that now we are his child on his spark. So all the pastimes from scriptures, so many pastimes of varieties of uh, personalities, they teach us that how to to make this transition from material to spiritual. That means what is artificial now, what we are thinking, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I have this problem, I have that problem, back to being natural, original, spiritual person. Right? When we say I am my hand, do you say my hand or I hand? Tell me, you are youngest here. What do you say? I hand or my hand? What do you say? Who will answer me, children? What do you say? I hand or my hand? My hand. My hand, yes. I body or my body? My. My body. I face or my face? My face. Right? That means when we say my face, my body, my head, that means his body belongs to somebody. Yes? Others you would say I face. You say my face. That means this face belongs to somebody. This hand belongs to somebody. And who is that somebody? Is that person who is staying in this body. Right? And who is staying in this body? You all. When we say we, it is the spiritual person. So how do we actually make this transition from material to spiritual is very simply and beautifully explained by the story of Narada Muni. How many of you know Narada Muni? Okay. Narada Muni is a great spiritual teacher. In fact, the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, the Guru Parampara where we are coming, is one of the great Acharya, great Guru. So let us understand his different life, right? As I told you, we are born from the eyes, glances of the Lord. Narada Muni, his first life, Brahmaji gave him birth, and Brahmaji asked him that can you please become a Prajapati and procreate? And he said, no, 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 I want to be a brahmachari. So then he was little, Brahmaji was upset, and he was born as a Gandharva. His name was Upabharna in the higher planets. Okay, we have just seen the journey of this person who was born as a Gandharva, Upabharna. And Gandharva is an excellent singer. He would sing very, very beautifully. So when he was in the spiritual higher planets and he would sing very beautifully, once Prajapati asked him, the leader of that planet, that we are going to perform a beautiful yajna for Lord Vishnu. Can you please sing? So I said, okay. He started singing different bhajans, but the way he was singing was actually was trying to attract the women who were there on that planet. And all the women were getting attracted to him. And the Prajapati realized that what are you doing? You are supposed to sing this for the pleasure of the Lord, but you are, naturally somebody, young person, very handsome, very good singer. When he saw a beautiful lady, he thought, let me attract them. Huh? Dhum. Prajapati cursed him. Okay, this is not a place for you to stay. And then he came down. He was like a magic carpet. Children, remember magic carpet, people can fly, and the magic carpet is just taken away. What will happen? Fall. So he fell from the higher planets and he ended up on earth. And now, third birth. What did he take birth? He was born as a son of a maid servant. He did not even know who was his father. He was born in a very poor family. They were in a forest. Mother was serving in that ashram. As a like she would clean the house, ashram, she would fill the water, she would cook, she would serve. And this little boy was staying with the mother. And he would assist the mother whenever, otherwise he would be playing. One day, it was a time in India, there are three seasons: monsoon, summer, and winter. So when the monsoon started, a group of sadhus, they are named as Bhakti Vedantas. Bhakti Vedantas came to that ashram and they wanted to stay in that ashram. So when they stayed in the ashram, this little boy, along with his mother, would serve the Bhakti Vedantas. And when they would be sitting to eat prasad, we would put the banana leaf. When they would finish, he would pick up the banana leaves. He would give them water. And when they were not eating prasad, they would all be sitting and chanting as all of you are chanting. And when otherwise they would be discussing from the scriptures. And this young boy would sit there and he would hear. And he was very, very happy. He was listening. Definitely, he did not remember his previous life, but he had that some realization that I had made some mistake in my previous life. I have to rectify for that. And then one day he had a desire when they were eating prasad. He asked their permission that whatever you are eating, can I eat with your permission, whatever is left over from your plate? And then he took some Mahaprasad with the permission of this great sadhus. And that actually gave him lots of spiritual power. Lots of spiritual power. Because Mahaprasad of a great Vaishnav is very powerful. And at the end of the 4 months, this Bhaktivedanta is now the monsoon season is over, so they will again start traveling. They started moving from there. So he took their blessings and he said, no, you stay here. Whatever you have heard in these 4 months, you remember, you study more scriptures. After they left, just in few days, once his mother was in the forest collecting some wood and she died because of a snake bite. Now this boy was all alone in this world. He had no one. But what had happened? With the knowledge he received from the Bhaktivedantas and with the prasadam which he ate from the Bhaktivedantas, his heart had completely transformed. He had spiritually got so much strength that he started thinking that now all the local people will think that, oh, I am, such a poor boy. His mother is also no more. There is nobody to look after him. So they will all start coming and giving me different things, and I will get entangled more and more with them. So scriptures explain that when he did the last rite for his mother, he burnt her with the house so that he doesn't have anything. And he was spiritually so empowered that he had heard from the Bhakti Vedantas, if you want to find the Lord, you can only find in Himalayas, you do tapasya. So he started walking towards north. And he crossed rivers and forests and cities and towns, and he reached to North India. He was in Himalayas. He sat down, and exactly the way the Bhakti Vedantas are discussed, he sat down, he started meditating. Few months of meditation, he actually saw the Paramatma within his heart. Each one of us, as I say, we live in this body. So the soul lives in this body in the region of heart. And Krishna is so kind that he himself comes and stays with us in our heart. Whether you're in a body of a human, an animal, an ant, or a tree, or a bird, Krishna as the form of Paramatma is sitting in everyone's heart. So his heart, Paramatma, manifested in front of him. And he saw the Lord and he got so attracted. But immediately that personality disappeared. And then he heard a voice that, my dear Narada, actually, what you saw is my original form. But I have shown you this form just to attract you and make you realize that process or the path on which you are progressing is the right path. But still, you have to complete lots of activities, spiritual practices to attain to your eternal form. So continue your spiritual practices. At the end of this life, you will be transformed into an original spiritual body. And he continued that at the end of that life, he got an eternal spiritual body of Narada Muni, who is always a Veena. And what is he doing? He's continuously chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Narada Muni, after that, he got the spiritual eternal form, and his only job, he travels, maybe he's around here, we do not know. Wherever the devotees are trying to learn about Krishna, he always goes there. You see, in Nabadam, there are so many different people whom he has changed. He met Prahlad, he met Dhruv Maharaj, he met Valmiki, so many people. And he transformed their lives because he has himself gone through this transition over the 3 lives, and he has perfected his life in the form of this eternal spiritual body. So we learn from this pastime of Narada Muni. What do we learn? That how association with the pure devotees and how the Mahaprasad of the pure devotees is like a catalyst. It acts like a catalyst in your spiritual journey. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. This even a moment association with devotees can transform your life and you can attain the highest perfection.
So this was a beautiful example, right, of Narad Muni transforming from Upabarna to a maid servant's son, and then finally to Narad Muni. There's another very interesting character in Shrimad Bhagavatam by the name Ajamil. Ajamil was a uh, very devoted son of a very devoted Brahmanical family. He was very pure in his habits, would perform his Brahmanical duties very nicely. He was very obedient to his parents, and everything was going very well. But at that time, they would not be having, they needed forest wood to light fire and cook. So he would go every day to cut the wood from the forest. So one day when he had gone to cut the wood, he saw a very disturbing sight. He saw a prostitute being embraced by a low class man. When he saw that sight, his mind got very disturbed. His mind got unnecessarily transformed to something very low class. And he got attracted to that prostitute because it is said, "Dayato visayam pumsa sangateshu pajayate sanjate kama kama krodha vijayate." That when you contemplate on the object of the senses, you get attached to it. And then further Gita explains, if the attachment is, if what you want is not fulfilled, what happens? It gives rise to anger. And then of course we know the whole process, what happens, Punda. But he got very attached to enjoying that prostitute from a very pure hearted Brahmana, my dear friends. Just that one sight for a few seconds changed his heart to something so very dirty. He had this, and then he got the prostitute to his house. He kicked out his parents, and he had many children from this prostitute. This prostitute was very demanding for that she wanted to have a lot of pleasures. So he became a highway gangster and a robber. He would steal people on the highways, and then in order to fulfill her desires, he had to get that sort of money. So can you imagine, please understand, from a very pure-hearted Brahmana devoted to his parents, he was unnecessarily transformed to a very low class. In Hindi it's called daku. Those who know, from a gangster. He was called Ajabin the Daku in Hindi. He was a gangster, and he had many children from this prostitute. And at the age of 90, he had a very small child. That means he had a child at that very advanced age. And for some reason, because of some small piety which was still there in his heart, because when you do something for the Lord, my dear friends, please understand, it remains. It gets covered but doesn't get completely off. So the small piety, he just happened to name that child Narayan. This is the name of the Lord. Now, he was not devotional at all, by the way, but he was very attached to the youngest child, Narayan. His life would always be a set around, hey Narayan, where are you? Hey Narayan, please come to me. Narayan, please get this for me. He was an old man. Right. Narayan, please come here. And then Narayan was giving a lot of pleasure to him. But because of his very sinful life, please understand, for every karma, for every action, there is an equal and corresponding reaction. Right? Karma. So when you do good things, you get good karma. When you do horrible things, you get bad karma. So because of his very sinful life, the Yamadutas, the messengers of Yamraj, they came to take him. He was on his deathbed, as we say. And when we are on the deathbed, none of us see, but the person dying sees. Right? And we know what he's seeing based on his the way he responds. And when you lead a very nice, pure life, you have Vishnudutas coming, the messengers of Lord Vishnu. So these Yamadutas came, and they look very grotesque, very fearful, very horrible features. They're very scary looking, and they came, and they tied his legs, both the legs, tied his hands, and they tried to rip him apart and draw his soul out of his body and take him. And it was very scary. So when we are going through the very scary, difficult times, obviously we obviously shout the names of people, somebody whom we are very close to, right? So he says, Narayan! Narayan! Because he's attached to his son. Antakale chamam evam smaran muktva kalevaram. What you think in the time of death, you achieve that. Unknowingly, not he was, as I said, he was not the least devotional at that point in time. Which Amit Narayan's mind, little did he know, came the four beautiful looking, effulgent personalities right there. They were Vishnu Dutas. And there was a conversation between Vishnu Dutas and the Yamadutas. Yamaduta said, why are you here? This man is not, I think you have lost your address, It is not Vanguard Road 25. You have to go to Vanguard 2030 or something like that. You lost your address. And no, this is the address. Vishnu is giving the right GPS coordinates. This is the right place we are here. I said, but this fellow was a very debaucherous, useless, low grade, third class person. His habits were very horrible. I said, that's fine. But he has chanted the name of Lord at the time of his death. So he's a rightful claimant to being taken to Vishnu. And then there was a conversation. It is a long story short. But finally, the Vishudutas convinced the Yamadutas that, well, this is not your person, this is our person. And they left and they realized that he's right. And there was, in a matter of a second, my dear friends, there was a major transformation of his heart. And not that he died, but he got the second chance. And he had a second chance where he lived a very pure life. There was a significant transformation in his life. So we understand the second thing, the second agent of transformation. The first one, she's given the example of Narad Muni, and that transforming agent was the Sadhu Sangha, the association of devotees, and the Mahaprasad. Here, what do you think is the transforming agent? Can somebody, yes?
The death moment.
No. The holy names. The holy name is was the transformation. Just when we chant, that is why when we came here, I was so inspired that I'm going to tell the story of Ajamil, and all of you are already chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sometimes we do not even know what sort of transformation is happening in our life by chanting Hare Krishna. We are everything episode the same. It's not that we start getting blue colors in our skin, or we start getting the third and the fourth hand. And it's not that, oh, where is my blue color? Oh, something is little blue here, yeah. It's never like that, right? It's all intrinsic. The transformation is intrinsic, where you actually feel. And what is the transformation we're talking about? It's the way we live our life, the way we see things, the way we to respond to people, the way we interact with people. That changes. We become better people. We become pure-hearted people. We think in a pure-hearted way. So please, this is the second powerful agent of transformation we learned from the story of Ajamil, that how a very, very grotesque materialist was transformed into a very pure-hearted sadhaka, yeah, in the form of Ajamil, the saint. And we quote his example not as a Daku, by the way. The Bhagavatam doesn't make him famous as a Daku or as a gangster, but he's known as a person who is a saint who got transformed by the holy names. So when we chant tomorrow, or when we're chanting whenever, let us understand that this is indeed one of the most powerful transforming agents in my life. And by chanting Hare Krishna, how fortunate we are that we have got this chance to chant Hare Krishna, and how grateful we need to be to those persons who have really introduced us to this chanting process, and how grateful we should be to that original person, Srila Prabhupada, who has given us the holy names.
Okay, I would just tell one example about a real life story. We had one devotee, his name was Priyabandhu Prabhu, and he was in Mumbai. And like how, every day we all go to job, he had gone for his job and he was coming back by a train. This we are talking about in the year 2006. And his brother, his father, his sister, all were working. So everybody was, it is like, you are at London, central London, and then you are taking a train and going back to your suburbs. So like that, each one of them, all four of them in different trains. And this particular devotee entered at one particular station. And when he entered, he was going to right, but somehow that his heart felt, he felt that I should go to left. When a compartment is the right side, left side. So he went to right side and he sat on a place, he got the place. He sat there, he removed his bead bag and he started chanting. And while chanting, he went to sleep. And the next thing
As we all go.
and the next thing he remembers is a huge bomb blast in the compartment.
The Bombay bomb blast, he was.
If you remember the series of bomb blasts in the train, it happened in his compartment and he went on the right side. On the left side was a bomb. The only thing he remembers, he said, even his clothes, there was not a single piece of cloth on his body. Because of that bomb blast, everything had finished, the sound. And all the people in the compartment dead, except him. Except him. The only thing he lost was hearing. He could not hear because the blast was so loud. from 1 year. Other year he could see here. And he saw the beads which he had in his hands, which is Guru Maharaj had given, they're lying on the side. People came, the rescue team came. He got up on his own and he started walking. His father was in another train. That train also had a bomb blast. Brother, all 4 trains had bomb blast. And the entire family walked back home. Nothing happened to them. So many times we feel that we are chanting and how the chanting protects. Chanting actually protected his entire family, especially him. He was telling us, I went to sleep, but still Krishna protected. So chanting is a very, very powerful process.
So thank you, Kishori Mataji and Sridama Prabhu. So they're like my parents. I usually don't speak when they're speaking, but they're insisting, so I'm speaking. Recently, I've been looking a lot at myself, right? So what does Srila Prabhupada name our society? Anybody? International Society for what? I mean, does he say Krishna Seva? Does he say something else? He says Krishna consciousness. So I think if you think about it, right, we can all imagine many things, right? We can imagine ourselves with clothes which are kingly. We can go in a dream. In a dream we will be flying, right? But we cannot imagine not being conscious. Well, can it really say that I'm not conscious? Yeah, all of us are conscious. We're conscious of something. But what are we conscious of is, as per Srila Prabhupada, what should we be conscious of? Krishna. So the story here is about Vritrasura. Vritrasura appeared in a demonic family, and of course Indra is in the Deva family. So what does Indra and the demons do? What do they do? They're fighting. So Vritrasura, before he was killed also, right, he started preaching to Indra because Indra started running away. Very similar to how Krishna was preaching the Gita to Arjuna. Krishna says, Mam anusmarya yudhyasya. Just remember me and fight. That's your duty. And Arjuna gives many excuses, Brother T. Second chapter, 4th verse. Raham Bhishma Baham Sankhya Tronam Cha Madhusudana. Because Krishna has just called him. What has Krishna called him? Krishna has called him Klaigyam Maspadamaparthan Eta Tvai Upapattite. That's the 2nd verse, 2nd chapter. So what does Klaigyam mean? The 3rd gender. So Arjuna has been Brihalala, and Krishna is joking with him, right? Krishna is like, oh, you're like a Klaigyam now. So and then what happens? And then he says, Katha Bhishma Maham Sankhya, because Krishna is called and this. So he said, will you, he gets angry in a way, right? So Vritrasura similarly was started to advise Arjuna. Now, when so the other thing in Vritrasura's story, Vritrasura being a demon, does it matter whether you're in demoniac family? Doesn't seem to. Prahlad born in a demon family, Bali Maharaj born in a demon family. Doesn't seem to matter. What seems to matter is what is your consciousness, right? What is your consciousness? Indra, the consciousness is what? Like Indian politicians, I want to save my seat.
Indian and UK also.
Yes, so any politicians, yeah. Any politician, right? Any politician, what are they doing? They try to save their seat. The consciousness is what? My seat should be safe. And Vritrasura's consciousness is what? Let me preach. And being a demon. So please understand, externals seem to not matter. I mean, here, so what happened? Even when he was being killed, what was he praying, Vritrasura? To be reunited with the Lord, right? And he showed complete detachment and spiritual longing. So again, the lesson here is true spiritual consciousness can exist even in an unlikely form. Externals don't seem to matter. Of course, we should be clean ourselves. That's fine, but it doesn't seem to matter. A pure devotee will appear in anybody and can be anybody. So this is very, very important. And Indra, do you remember the story of Indra when he was born? as a pig. Is that right?
Yes.
Sorry. Right. So that's a story. This is really funny. Children just here. So Indra, the king of heavens, was cursed. He seems to be poor person. That he seems to be cursed again and again. He was cursed to be a pig, and then he had a pig family. So Narada came again. He said, "Come." Said, "No, no, no. This is so nice. I've got my family. I've got a pig wife. I've got pig children." Narada is trying to say, "Hey, you are the king of the entire spiritual, entire heavenly realm, not spiritual, and heavenly realm." And Indra, what is Indra saying? No, 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 I have to continue. No, no, I have to continue. Of course, then Narada gave some mercy, and of course, he was killed. And then Indra said, "Oh, I didn't realize." So, what is most important, again, is true spiritual consciousness can exist in an unlikely form also. And a pure devotee may appear in any body or be in any situation, and all that they do is show complete detachment and spiritual longing.
I'm not a speaker, so please forgive me. I give in. But I was just, when I was listening and I was coming here, I was thinking, do things. Of course, other than scriptural examples, one, I was thinking like, when a caterpillar, he goes through the transition, he goes through the transformation to be a beautiful butterfly. He doesn't think, oh, I don't want to come out of this cocoon. He doesn't think, I don't want to change myself. He accepts the change. And then when we accept the change, it is very natural to be a beautiful butterfly. Similarly, when in Britain, everybody must have seen apple tree or any tree, fruit trees. What we see is during the autumn, all the leaves and everything is spreads out, and then the new leaf come. But initially, the apple tree will be it will start with the flowers, beautiful flowers, beautiful fragrant flowers. Now, this beautiful fragrant flowers don't think that I want to be as a flower. I don't want to leave this tree. When their time comes, they fall, and then the leaves come. And then from the leaves, we find the fruits also. And then we all can relish the apple. We can offer it to the Lord, make different things. So transition or a change is difficult, but it always brings the good result. So when we read the scriptures, there is a beautiful example of Jagai Madai. So these were about 500 years ago, back in India, there was the Lord appeared as Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. You can see them here beautifully placed. So Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, he being a Lord, he said, why don't you go and tell everyone to chant Hare Krishna and be happy, help them to change their consciousness, because everyone is too engrossed in their whole life. You know how he said about the Indra being pig and the piglets and pig wife and everything, forgot that he had a better life. So to do this, he sends his Lord Nityananda and Haridas, one of his friends, to go around and ask everybody to chant. So one day when they were passing by, they saw these two brothers. They were the most miscreants, more think of any sin in the world and they must have done it. They would drink, they would beat people, they would rob people, they would abuse people, everything. So when Nityanand Prabhu approached Jagai and Madhai, these two brothers, he said, please chant Hare Krishna. And they started making fun of Nityananda. And looking at their faces and the anger, Haridas Thakur ran from there. Again, next day they came and he told them, please chant Lord Govind. So Jagai and Madhai were like, what are you talking? And then Jagai hit the pot, hit Nityanand Prabhu with the pot. So Haridas Thakur went to Lord Chaitanya to ask for the help, that this is what is happening, come and save Nityananda. So when Lord came, and the Lord doesn't like if we mistreat his devotees, because devotees are very close to his heart. So when the Lord comes, he is about to take out his Sudarshan Chakra to kill Jagai and Madhai because they hurt Nityananda Prabhu. And the Nityananda Prabhu says, please, don't. They are nice devotees. Madhai stopped Jagai to hit me. He's very kind. So as soon as Lord heard this, he said, oh, Madhai, you are so nice. And he hugged Madhai. So looking at that, Jagai said, what is wrong? We have done everything together. Every scene you think of, every act you think of, we sit together, we eat together, we do everything together. So why not me? And Lord says that, you will get the mercy only if you ask forgiveness from Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda, being the merciful Lord, he immediately, he says, he helps Jagai to get the mercy of the Lord. And then Lord tells them that you can build you help people who comes to take bath in the holy Kaji river to get purified. So when we see these all things, and then Jadai Madai becomes so beautifully such a nice people that everybody is surprised of this transition, is this transformation, that what happened. But the only transition and transformation that manifested this whole thing was the mercy of the devotee. Lord Nityananda was so merciful that anytime you approach him, he will be always there to help you, always there to guide you. So transition and transformation are the part of life. And as Prabhu was saying, and Kishori Mataji and Sridama Prabhu were saying, that material to spiritual transition is the journey of changing our consciousness from material to the spiritual realm. And in that, as they were giving the examples of different devotees or different personalities from scripture, that they help us, devotee prasad, devotee katha, Krishna's pastimes, all these things, small things, which God sends on our way, is always helps to help us and improve us to get closer to Him.
So there is another beautiful pastime which comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is about Bilva Mangal Thakur. Bilva Mangal Thakur is a great saint, but he at that point of time, he was a young man and was very attracted to a prostitute. So it was every night he would spend the night with that prostitute. He had his wife, he had his children. And one night his father had died. So he was supposed to do funeral. And it was raining very, very heavily. But somehow or other, he wanted to go to the prostitute. So he went to the river. To cross the river, there was no boat. There was no boatman. So suddenly he saw that there was a big wood, a plank of wood. So he caught hold of that. And catching that, he crossed the river. When he reached the house of the prostitute, Chintamani, her name was Chintamani. When he reached the house of the Chintamani, the doors were closed, locked. He knocked, but nobody would open. It was raining so heavily, nobody could hear. It was thundering. And then as he was going around, he saw that, oh, Chintamani has already dropped this big rope for me. So he caught hold of the rope and he went up. And when he entered the room of Chintamani, she was so surprised. Said, how did you come in this such a stormy night? How did you cross the river? And how did you climb up? And he said, see, that wooden plank was there. And she came near her window and she said, where is the wooden plank? It was not a wooden plank, it was a dead body. He didn't even realize. He said, no, and you put this rope. He said, where is the rope? It was a dead snake hanging. So Bilwa was so enamored. His desire to meet Chintamani was so intense that he did not even realize what he was doing. So when Chintamani saw this, she spoke only one line. She said, Bilwa, the desire you have to meet me is so intense. If you had this desire, same intense desire to see Krishna, you would have achieved Krishna. That one line transformed Bilwa's life. And it is said in the scriptures that actually it is Bilva Mangal Thakur's spiritual master, Guru, spoke through Chintamani.
Yes.
Lila Shuka, he spoke through Chintamani. And from that day, immediately that place, he gave up everything. He became a sadhu. He went in the forest and he started practicing spirituality. Started chanting, he started worshipping the Lord in the form of the deity. And he has composed one of the best bhajans which we hear. Such a transformation happened. And how did it happen? Because the mercy of a spiritual master. Many times we do not realize, but our spiritual master gives his mercy to different personalities. Here we can see that through Chintamani, his spiritual master spoke, and that time, right time, those words did a magic in his life. We know, all of us know that Ratnakar was another dacoit, and he would kill so many animals. And every time he would kill, sometimes he would make them half dead. So Narada Muni was passing by and he saw this person. He said, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "No, I have a family. I need to feed my family. And that's why I'm killing these animals and selling them." He said, "Will your family be part of the sins which you are incurring by killing this animal?" He said, "Wait, I will go and ask my wife and my parents." So he went home and asked his wife and parents that, "Are you partaking the half of the sins of killing the animals? Because I am doing this for feeding you." He said, "No, your duty is to feed us. The way you are doing it, why should we be a part of the sin?" And it opened his eyes. He came back to Narmuni. And Narmuni said that every time you are killing, you are actually creating so many sinful reactions. And he actually shows him that what is your destiny. So Narmuni is like a YouTube video, live. See, this is the hellish plan, what will happen to you. And he realized that what I'm going to go through, say, what should I do? So Narmuni said, you chant the name of Lord Ram. But he was so sinful, he could not even chant the name Ram, Ram, Ram. So spiritual master is so intelligent. Huh? He said, okay, you said Mara, because they're killing, right? Killing is called Mara. He said Mara, 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 Mara. And what was happening? Say Mara, 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 Mara. What happened? Ram. So he started chanting like that. So a spiritual master, actually, he is that agent who can transform your life, who can transform your life to the highest spiritual level. There's an example of a teacher. He was a kung fu teacher. And a child came who did not have his left hand. He had only one hand. And he came, mother said, okay, can you please teach my child? Said, okay, I will teach him. And he taught him one step. Okay. And he kept on teaching them step. The other students who came, they went on the second step, second level, third level, higher levels. But this child was always on the first level only. And then there was a national level competition. So the teacher chose this child. And this child is saying, but teacher, I know only one level. I don't even know other levels. Say, no, you go. You will win. So he went for the competition. And every level, he started winning. And the final gold medal, when he won, he was shocked. So he started crying and asking his teacher that I know only this one step. And all these people, they know so many different levels. And how come I am only winning? He said, because the step you know, if somebody wants to refute you, they have to catch hold of your left hand and then, do the. But you don't have a left hand. So they can't do it. So what is the moral of the story? The teacher knows what is best for you. Spiritual master knows what is best for us. Our guru knows what is best for us. And Srila Prabhupada, that's why for all of us, who are staying at our homes and we want to do practice spirituality also and you want to have a nice life also. That's a Prabhupada has told. Chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Namatra. Follow these 4 little principles. It is my guarantee that you will go back to God.
So there's another very interesting story. So are you enjoying this story and the learnings from today? That's the purpose, by the way. We don't just hear stories for the sake of hearing stories, but we derive beautiful lessons from them. So there was a great, powerful elephant who was the king of the jungle. And this place was called the Trikuta Mountains. The Trikuta mountain is made of solid gold, and this is in the in other universes. And uh, when the water dashes against the mountain, what is created is jewels. Like we see what is created on you are we are right on the on a beach side, right? Boardmore. What you see is sand, right? Now this place had jewels instead of the sand, and he was the king of this place, Trikuta. And he had a whole beautiful family. He had his subjects. They loved him. So it was all going very well, right? This sound familiar? That life going very well. I have a nice car. I have a nice villa. I have a nice job. Everything going very well. I'm a happy person. London is treating me so well. Everything's so nice. Right? So we all have those times where things go very well. But things don't always go very well. Even though we like in our lives and all our friends' life, things should go on very well. Things don't go very well. So he had gone with his family for a picnic. And he went with his wife, his children, and he went to the water body, and he was splashing water on his wife. They were having loving exchanges. The wife was smiling, he was smiling, was spraying water. The children say, "Oh, my papa is so powerful, he can splash so much water at one time." So it was all going very well, right? And the subject will say, "Oh, our king is so strong." And then a crocodile, which was right in the waters, captured the leg of this Gajendra. And Gajendra was intoxicated by respect. We don't only get intoxicated by alcohol. Even the respect gets intoxicated. He said, "What is this?" Everybody was respecting him, and he said, "Okay, you guys go away. You tell your wife should you go and just watch this match. In matter of no time, I will just destroy this. What does this crocodile think I am? I am the king of the jungle." And he was a really powerful elephant. And we started fighting and fighting and fighting, but you have to be in your natural environment. You have to be in your natural disposition to get the strength of that natural environment. Now elephant was not in his natural environment. Water is not his natural habitat, and the crocodile was in his natural habitat. He was gaining tremendous power by being in the waters, and his grip of the leg of the crocodile of the elephant was becoming tighter and tighter. And it is said that they fought for how many years, Sundar? Thousands of years. They fought for thousands of years, my dear friends. It was not just an 18-day war like the Kurukshetra. Sorry, it was not. So they fought for a long, long time. And then he realized, and everybody on the shore, his wife, his children, they were crying. That something is wrong today. It is not happening the way we thought. And Gajendra was losing his strength. He was becoming very weak, and the crocodile was making his grasp more and more stronger. The crocodile's mouth is compared to be like the time factor. At a particular time in our life, the grip of the crocodile becomes very tight, and that grip becomes very painful. And there's no way you can get loosened from this grip of the crocodile in our life in the form of the time factor, right? Sometimes the situation in our life are very helpless. We realize that, well, I can't deal with this. Some sudden news coming to you, some sudden information coming to you, and he said, "Well, I can't handle this." So Gajendra tried to handle it. He couldn't. And then he realized, "Idhana yovana putra bari jana ite kiyache bharati tire kamala dala jala jivana dala mala Bajahu Haripada Midire." This is a beautiful song written by Govind. He said that Idhana Yovana Putra Parijana, this wealth that we have, this family members, this estates that we have, the relatives that we have, the the businesses that we have, the jobs that we have, the light of or the pleasure derived from those things is so short-lived. It is like a water turtling on the leaf of a lotus flower, of a lotus. The leaf of a lotus, what is the unique feature of a leaf of a lotus? It is very, very slippery. The water falls up in no time, it just trickles down. That's how short is his lifespan. It's like that's what it is. Bhajahu Haripada Niti Re. As if the only refuge is to take shelter of the Lord. And Gajendra, based on the past life that he was King Indradyumna, who was a devotee of the Lord, he remembered his past life and realized that at this time when you are in real crisis, whom should we take shelter of? The person who is Achuta, who is infallible. Or everybody else in our life is fallible soldiers. They will help you, no doubt. But at some point they will become they're fallible. They can't. But the only person who's Achuta is Krishna. And he took the lotus flower from the water body and he took his trunk and he offered it. Hey Krishna, hey Govinda, I can't help you. Please help. And no, as soon as Gajendra just raised the lotus, the Lord came running. And he was so much keen to come that he found flying of Garuda very slow. The Lord was saying, hey Garuda, please fly fast. Now Garuda is supersonic jet speed he comes. But still the Lord was so keen. Please understand the personality of the Lord. When the devotee cries out, the Lord is so much eager to come. He found the speed of Garuda to be slow. He was chastising Garuda. Hey Garuda, why are you so slow today? Garuda said, well, I'm not slow. You are just so eager. And then the finally the Lord came and took his Sudan Chakra and he chopped off the head of the crocodile. And he saved Gajendra. And that was major transformation. From a very, very sense gratified life that he lived, very, very egoistic life, thinking that he is something. The crisis in the life became the transforming agent in this story. And the crisis, sometimes you become atheistic. You said, that God doesn't exist. But in his case, he took shelter of the Lord. And through that shelter, his life was transformed and he attained the lotus feet of the Lord. So again, crisis we don't want. But if it does come in our life, by taking the shelter of the Lord, by taking the shelter of the Lord's devotees, by taking the shelter of the holy names, we can transform that crisis into a benediction, by which there could be significant transformation in life. And that's what we saw in Prabhupada's life. Prabhupada was a preacher, but at one point of time he was a grihastha. He had a running factory. He was a very, very successful businessman. But at one point of time, his business, his factory got burned, and his workers stole all the money they had. Major crisis, like who wants that, right? Prabhupada said, "Well, this is what Krishna wants. Let me use this facility," and he gave up his active business life, and he became a devotee of the Lord. I mean, he already was a devotee, but he became active in spreading the message of the Lord, and that's why we find ourselves all over here. Prabhupada used that facility.
So another pastime which comes in our mind is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad was a great son of Hiranyakashipu. And Prahlad wanted that Hiranyakashipu wanted that his son should be the best of the demon king and the best of the person. So Prahlad, he put Prahlad into the school of Shanda and Avarka, and thinking that Prahlad will be taught all the Shamadama, Danda, Ved, all the politics and all the Kshatriya martial arts. And he was learning that. But Prahlad was a great devotee. So when after a few days, Shanda and Amarka, it was like a boarding school, what is a Gurukul. So when he came with Prahlad to Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu started asking Prahlad, so what have you learned today in your school? And he said, oh, best of the demons. He said, Asura Varya. What I have learned is, Prahlad is telling his father, who is a great demon, who is against Lord Vishnu. So I have learned that you should give up all this, go to Vrindavan and worship Lord Hari. And Hiranyakashipu was so shocked. What happened? What happened? He said, so Sridama said, don't worry, sir. King, we will take him. He's a small young boy. Somebody has brainwashed him. So again, they started teaching him. And Prahlad was a very, very gentle child. He would not tell anything to his teachers, but now during his free time, when there was a recess, today's at the lunch time, he started talking about Lord Narayan to all his friends. And in the school, they all started dancing and chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So all the children are dancing. And Chanda and Amarga came. What is this? Forget he not becoming a demon, he is converting everybody else also into devotees. He said, this is too much. So he took Prahlad and they went to Hiranyakashipu. And they are told Hiranyakashipu, this case is gone case. It's beyond us. Now you handle. So Prahlad said that Hiranyakashipu said that when in a sandalwood forest, if the sandalwood tree becomes poison, then the only thing you can do is cut off that tree. So he said Prahlad has to either you start giving up the thinking about Lord Vishnu or I will kill you. And Prahlad was so innocent. He said, no, but how can I give up chanting Hare Krishna? So then Hiranyakashipu decided to kill him, to murder him. So he tried everything. He threw him from the mountain. And Prahlad was so simple. In any circumstance, he was just chanting the names of the Lord. He was remembering the Lord. He would just close his eyes and he would remember. And the Lord, at the end, he was thrown from top. Ideally, what should have happened? Die. And pieces. Instead of that, he would start walking because nothing happened with his body. Then they would put him in among the snakes, dangerous, poisonous snakes. What should have happened? Die. He would just close his eyes, remember Krishna. And snakes would not do anything to him, would walk out. They would put him under in a cage where there were so many elephants, mad elephants. They would wanted to trample him. He would have been dying, but no, he would just close his eyes and remember Krishna. Then Hiranyakashipu had a sister who had the benediction that no, she can never be burnt. So sister said, okay, I will take Prahlad in my lap and you put fire on me and you see. And when the fire was put with Prahlad, what happened? He was just closing his eyes and remembering Krishna. And what happened was, Holika burned to ashes. Nothing happened to Prahlad. So like that, every time when they were trying to kill Prahlad. And who was trying to kill Prahlad? His own father. Imagine for a child, father has such an important place in his life. And yet his own father is trying to kill him and nobody is there to protect him. But his faith in the Lord is so strong that he's closing his eyes and is only remembering the Lord. At that point of time, Hiranyakashipu got very angry. And he said, where are you getting this strength from? He said, it's from the same place where you are getting your strength. He said, what? He said, my Lord is giving me the strength, the same Lord is giving the strength to you. He said, where is your Lord? He is everywhere. Is he in this pillar? Yes. So Hiranyakashipu took his club and he smashed the pillar. If he is in this pillar, let him come and protect you. Today I am personally going to destroy you. And as soon as he hit the pillar, there was a big sound and everybody got scared. And a wonderful creature came out. Was half lion, half man, who had very big nails. And Lord Nrsimhadev appeared in that form because Hiranyakashipu had a benediction that he cannot be killed by a man or an animal, not in the day, in the night, not inside the house, not outside the house, not with any weapons. So finally, Nrsimhadev took Hiranyakashipu. He went on the, where the house is just, not inside the house, outside the house. He put him on his lap because not on earth, not in sky. He was on his lap. So every condition Nrsimha fulfilled, and then he killed him with his nails. And finally, Prahlad was protected. So Prahlad's faith in the Lord and in the process was so powerful that he could transit any material situation into spiritual situation. So this is a very important lesson for all of us. Most of the time, whenever we are put in difficult situation, we immediately try to sort it out with the material solution. Right? If you don't have something, you try to figure out some material solution. But here Prahlad taught us that how important it is to take shelter of the spiritual solutions, remembering the Lord. Because this solution never fails. Lord will always come. When you remember the Lord, Lord will always come and protect you. So this is a wonderful process that when remembering the Lord, right? Many times we remember different things. Whenever difficulties come, we try to sort it out in a different way. But Prahlad teaches us that always give priority to your spiritual life. When suppose difficulties come, we give our spiritual life a secondary this thing, not primary. But here Prahlad teaches by his example that how spiritual practices was his prime at first duty, first responsibility. And because he gave first priority to Krishna, Krishna also gave him the priority. Right? When we give Krishna second, third, fourth, fifth priority, we have other list, higher list or something else. And Krishna will also give you that first. No. If you are on the fifth list, you will be fifth on his list. But if you are on his first list, priority list top, Krishna will also give you that top priority. And that's why Krishna not only loved Prahlad, but Prahlad's sons and grandson, Bali Maharaj. Now, Bali Maharaj was the grandson of Prahlad. And when Bali Maharaj became the king, he was such a powerful king that he defeated all the demigods. And he took charge of the heavenly planet, hellish planet, and the earth planet. All the three planets. And when Bali Maharaj was such a powerful king, at that time, the mother of demigods, she prayed that how can my sons, Indra and all, are running, hiding away? They have no place to stay, no wealth. So then her husband Kashyap Muni said, okay, you learn this Payovrata, and Vamandev incarnated. And Vamandev came, and he came to Bali Maharaj. That Bali Maharaj, please, what do you want? Bali Maharaj came there. He came to Bali Maharaj's ashram where he was performing yajna. And Vamandev came and asked Bali Maharaj asked Vaman that what do you want? He said, I only want 3 steps of land. He said, 3 steps of land? You are a dwarf. What will you, collect in your 3 steps? He said, one who is satisfied, he does not need anything else. And then in the first step, he covered the heavenly planet and the middle level. And second step, he covered everything. Now Vamandev asked, where should I put my third foot? And at that time, Bali Maharaj put his head. He said, put on my head. And Vamandev put his third foot on the head of Bali Maharaj. And he pushed Bali Maharaj down to the Sutala Loka, only one Loka. And Vamandev was so pleased. And Bali Maharaj, from a demonic king, by his surrender, he showed that he wants to give up everything to please the Lord, even his body. And Lord was so pleased that he became a gatekeeper on the Loka's entrance. So we can see 2 demon, Prahlad and Bali Maharaj, and 2 main incarnations, Vamandev and Nrsimhadev. So when you show that faith and surrender, the Lord will definitely protect you.
So the next story that we're going to speak about is Parikshit Maharaj. Everybody knows about Parikshit Maharaj. Who is Parikshit?
Yes.
Who's Parikshit? When Kali attacked the son of a king. He was a king, yeah. Whose son? That son even. I don't know about your son. Yeah. So he was cursed to die for some reason in 7 days. What do you think he did as soon as he was cursed to die in 7 days?
That they dispense.
Oh, yeah. Which is why he was cursed. Yeah, which is why he was cursed. Now, after he was cursed, Parikshit Maharaj took complete shelter of Sukhdev Goswami Maharaj. Yeah, Sukhdev Goswami Maharaj. Though many of us, we do not know maybe we are going to die. Yeah. Parikshit Maharaj said, I'm very lucky. I know I've got 7 days. I'll ask Sukhdev Goswami Maharaj what to do. And because of Parikshit Maharaj, the entire Bhagavatam was spoken. So what is said is for those 7 days and 7 nights, Parikshit Maharaj was not sleeping, was not eating. He was just sitting attentively listening. All the sages were present. And also, Sukhdev Goswami Maharaj was not stopping. It's not that, like we're going to stop at 6, we might have some prasad. So there was no such thing. It just went on for 7 days and 7 nights where they did Bhagavatam, right? And he became fully realized, fully liberated. What we learned from here is that death is not an obstacle. Why? Why is death not an obstacle? Anyone?
Because we don't die.
Exactly. Because we do not die. What are we? What do we say we are? And what is it of the soul? Yes. And conscious. The soul is conscious. So Parikshit knew all he needed to do was change what? His consciousness. And how did he change his consciousness? 7 days and 7 nights listening to Sukhdev Goswami Maharaj, which is why we have the Bhagavatam today. We are so lucky. We've got the Bhagavatam. The heavenly parents have a Bhagavatam much, much bigger than our Bhagavatam of 80,000 shlokas. But the Bhagavatam was spoken. So even impeding death, right, becomes a blessing when you turn towards Krishna and we are trying to listen to the eternal truths. And how does the Bhagavatam start? Does it directly start with the Raslila? The Bhagavatam starts with Gayatri. So what I'm trying to say is, for 7 days and 7 nights, it was not as Sukhdev Goswami Maharaj said that, I want to listen to the pastimes of Radha Krishna. I have only 7 days. The Bhagavatam starts from the basics. It starts from Lord Shiva's story, like that, and then of course it moves to the various incarnations of the Lord, and then in the 10th canto, only the 10th canto comes, the last leader, and then of course Parikshit Maharaj. Going back to Godhead, he was simple. I mean, he was just sitting, and then of course the Takshapa snake came, and he was completely unaffected, completely unaffected. And if he wanted, he was powerful enough to save himself, but he did. He said, "Okay, no, this is great. My time was now. Going back to Godhead."
So, just wanted to add in his pastime that, how he got what is the meaning of the name Parikshit? Anybody knows here?
Because of his success of the life after the fighting of the when Abhimanyu's son is died, that time Lord Vishnu saved him. That's why his name is Parikshit.
Yes, in the womb of his mother.
So when he was in the womb of his mother, somebody tried to kill him. And when Krishna came to know that Ashwatthama tried to kill him, and when Krishna came to know the Lord himself went and protected him in the womb. So when at that time he had seen the face of the Lord. So when he came, he was born and he was young. He kept looking at everybody. Was this the person who saved me? And he kept asking. That's how he got the name Parikshit. Similarly, a childhood plays such an important part in anybody's growth or progression in life. As we heard Prahlad Maharaj, there is another pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. How many of you know the pastimes of Dhruva? Yes. We have a Dhruva planet, right? Polar. So, Dhruva Maharaj had his father's name was King Uttalapat, and he had two mothers, Suniti and Suruchi. So, one day Dhruva Maharaj said, Father, I want to come and sit in your lap. And the other mother said, Suruchi said, no, you can't sit in his lap. because your mother, you are not my son, because she was a stepmother, right? And at that point, Dhruva becomes very upset. He was just 5 years old. He started crying. He said, I want to sit in my father's lap. So she just refused and didn't allow him to sit in his father's lap. So Dhruva went to his mother, started crying. He said, what should I do? I want this. He wanted to just sit in his father's lap. So his mother becomes a teacher and tells him, why don't I have heard that rishis and the sages, or those who want anything, they remember the Lord and they go to him, they pray to him. So immediately Dhruva says, where did I find this Lord who will fulfill my desire? So mother says that we can find him in a forest. That's what I have heard, but I have not seen him personally. So he goes in the forest and again he meets Narada Muni. As Kishori Mataji started the whole transformation journey with the story of pastime of Narada Muni. And Narada Muni says that, Dhruva, you are so small. Go home. Your father will be in a good mood and he will allow you. So he said, no, I want to. And not only that, but I want to become a bigger man than my father. So how should I do this? And then Narada Muni becomes the guru and he teaches him how to do the tapasya. Imagine 5 years old child. He started his journey. He started with, he folded his one leg and he stood in a Tadasana position, if anybody knows the yoga. And tree pose, basically. That's what we call it, right? And he started meditating. He started remembering. In a day, he would hardly eat anything. Gradually, he intensed his spiritual journey and he intensed his sadhana. And towards the end, he was hardly breathing also. So then the Lord said, who is this person? And he came to the Dhruva. Dhruva was so young, right? At 5 years old, boy, if Krishna comes in front of you, would you be able to say something to him at that age? You won't. He didn't even know how to pray or what to ask to the Lord. So the Lord touches his head with his conch and he gives the mercy. So Dhruva Maharaj says, actually, Lord, I had come to ask you I wanted to become a broken piece of glasses, but you have given me the jewel by giving me your darshan. I don't want anything anymore now. So the Lord said, no, Dhruva, you can ask. So he said, I just want to remember you and chant your name. And then the Lord gives him the whole planet to rule, a bigger planet, a bigger kingdom than his father. And gradually, towards the end, he goes to the Dhruva Loka. So we see that even if we approach the Lord for our material desire, it's okay. It's okay to go to Lord and say that I want something like this. But whatever we get in return, we should be able to accept it. Because Lord always has a higher plan for us. He wants to make sure that we come back to Him. That's where from originally we have come. He's waiting for us. Can you imagine? Like how all the mothers, when the kids go out of the house or husband goes out of the house, we all wait, or vice versa. Everybody, we wait for somebody. And we know how intense it is or how emotional it is. And loving and kindness. So there are so many emotions. So similarly, the Lord is waiting for us to go back to Him. And from this all different stories, we can see that the best transformation is that whether we have material desires or whether we have any other, if we take shelter of the Lord, we will be definitely going back to Him, as Prabhupada mentions.
So, we'd like to just conclude that these and many, many more stories, and in fact, each person's life sitting here and everywhere in the world is a wonderful story of transformation. Each one of us have that story, but we want to utilize that transformation to our benefit and take full advantage of it and take our process of Krishna consciousness very, very seriously. There has been a transforming agent, otherwise you would not be sitting here today. So many options are there. The fact that you have decided to sit here, that means there has been transformation. But how we consistently use this transformation to be consistent in our spiritual practices is what's going to decide our ultimate destination. So I would like to congratulate all of you for being recipients of that transformation, and to also be, I'm sure, in your own ways, to be a small transforming agents in your own way by getting more people to get transformed, because that is the nature of this transformation, that we are not just happy with our own transformation, we want to see others also getting transformed. So that's what the story of ISKCON is, that the story of Hare Krishna movement is, that we are not just happy with ourselves, but we want to transform others as well. And so happy to see this wonderful center, slowly growing, and so many sincere Vaishnavas. I can see all of you are, to sit in a class for what, 1 hour 45 minutes is not easy, and all of you have been sitting and patiently hearing. I'm sure all of us are waiting for something ecstatic in the next. I'm sure that is what is going to also transform all of us. But that's the real transformation. Yeah, that's the real transformation. But we don't. There are no free lunches in this world, as we say, right? So if you want that lunch, you have to pay the price by sitting for the class. So there are no pay lunches. So, anyways, so happy to have all of you today, and hope we had done due justice to this particular topic, and very happy to be here, and hope to see you all again whenever
Very
Krishna
grateful
arranges.
to Ankit Prabhu and Nikunja Manjari Mataji, that both of you have been so wonderfully conducting this Sangha. And all of you, I think you should understand that you are recipients of their association. And you can see how one devotee, a couple, can transform this Bonmat area into wonderful devotees.